Hey, what's up everyone? Dawnna St. Louis here. And let's see, it's Tuesday. Last time you saw me, it was Thursday. And I had a fantastic weekend. I went out to, in Charlotte, we were hanging out on an island with my friend Meredith. It was fantastic. It was a great mastermind. Today I want to talk a little bit about the $1 million mindset and the law of averages. I really want to get into the law of averages because the law of averages is really what I've used for a very, very, very ridiculously crazy long time in order to find success. And the law of averages has actually made me a little bit more successful. So I'm going to tell you how I use the law of averages to work with me, because I think people don't realize that if you really understand the law of averages on anything that you do, the amount of success you can find is completely over the top. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So why in the heck would you be here and why in the heck would you be listening? Well, first of all, you're probably an entrepreneur or a salesperson or someone whose work actually drives the bottom line of their business. At the end of the day, you know whatever it is that you do, that is the only thing that's going to make you successful. And in knowing that, you're going, yeah, I need to figure out how that chick did it. So how did that chick do it? Well, I started a business intelligence company when I was 27. And I sold it for $250 million when I was 39. And now I share with other people how to duplicate that kind of success. I am CEO of the E-Suite Network, and that is specifically for experts who want to figure out how to put money back into the middle of the economy. In other words, how can you make money so you can help out our economy? So let's get to it. So the one thing that you'll hear all the time is you'll hear people when they start talking about statistics, they'll talk about average, right? What does the average household make? What's the average median income? What does the average salesperson do? How many calls on average should you make in order to reach out? And there's all these averages, and we hear them all the time. And I got to tell you, it was these same statistics, these same averages, that completely changed everything in my life. So when I was just graduating, it was a year after high school. So I had just graduated from high school. It was a year after high school. My guidance counselor asked me to come back. So I went back as he invited several, what he called aspiring superstars, to come back and tell them what they'd done for the past year. And when I showed up, I told my guidance counselor that I had done nothing. Nothing. I had done nothing for the whole year that I was out of school, and it was literally a year. And he looked at me and he said, I'm going to give you right now 3 choices. He goes, here's your first choice. He pulled out a business card and he said, you can take this business card right now and you can pick up the phone and you can call the name on the other side of it. And the business card was for a military recruiter. And he said, you killed it on the ASVABs. You can go and do anything you want in the military. I suggest you do that. He goes, but if that doesn't work out for you, if you don't want to do that, I suggest you take $25. So he pulled out his drawer and he put $25 on the table. And he said, I would suggest you take $25 and put it in that beat up Dodge Omni that I saw you drive up in and get on I-95 and head north and get out of Florida. And he said, and if that doesn't work for you, and he gave me a third option. I'm going to tell you the third option in a bit. The third option is the option that changed my life. But what he told me before he gave me these options was this. Based on statistics, based on where you are, where you live, and where you came from, this is what's expected of you. You will have 5 children. 5. And out of those 5 children, 3 of them will go to jail. 1 of them will die, and 1 of them will follow your footsteps. And the one that follows your footsteps, by the way, let's talk about what those footsteps are. You're going to be on some type of drug. You'll start off with weed, move your way over into cocaine, and likely be on heroin. And you're going to do several years in jail. In fact, the only way that you're going to get off heroin for a temporary amount of time is simply because in jail you might find it a little bit more difficult to get heroin. But at the end of the day, you're basically going to be a drug-addicted, mini baby mama, daddy children in your life issue. Like, that's going to be you. That's who you're going to be. And he made it crystal clear that all I was going to do was be a drain on society. And what I really needed to do was get the hell up and get the hell out. And with that, he gave me those first 2 options that I told you about. Then came the third option. The third option was a bottle of codeine tablets. It was a small bottle. He pulled it out of his drawer, and he said, and here's your third option. Don't take one. Don't take a couple. Take all of them. Take all the codeine tablets. I think I got a cup of water right here. And he was just like, whatever you do, do whatever you need to do, not to be a drain on the economy, not to be a drain on my dollars. Because right now, based on the law of averages, that's what you're going to be. I want you to think about being average. With that, I took the $25, I got in my car, and I drove on I-95 north. I did. I headed north, and I ended up becoming homeless. But being homeless it wasn't even average, it was below average. And I wanted to bust my ass to get a little bit above average. But then I decided that getting a little bit above average wasn't enough. See, in school, I was an above average student. I was above average. But even with being above average, I was now sleeping on the side of a highway. So being above average just wasn't enough. I had to be more. And I kept moving up. So what did that move look like? Every time I went for a job and they told me what the average person earned, I wanted to know what the person above the average earned and what I needed to do to be that person. And then I looked at what that person earned and I wanted to figure out how I could be 10 times better. See, average is for the average. One step back and you're a loser. So why not take 10 steps forward so that way, even if you make a step backward, you'll still be a winner. Average is just not good enough. So what I do is every day I look at what the average person does. And I figure, how can I do 10 times more? Every day. So while people are complaining about their productivity and how they're having a hard time getting through their to-do list, I don't make my to-do list 10 times longer. I make my work 10 times more productive. When people are complaining about not making enough money, instead of figuring out how I can make just enough money so I can live just above average, I figure out how I can make a whole hell of a lot more, so that way if I slide back a little bit, I'm still super successful. Use average, because average makes superstars shine. So don't just be better. Don't just be a little better. Be exponentially better. Be so much better that people look at you and they never think that you were ever average. Look, that's what my mindset is for today. How can you be 10 times above average? So even when you take a small step back, you're still a superstar. That's all I got for you today. I'll see you tomorrow. And let me know what you're going to do to be so far above average that people will never think that you were.